House Energy and Commerce Committee. ABC's Mike Dubusky says Shou-Ji Chu is expected to emphasize the safety around younger users as a top priority.
Both the White House and Congress have signaled they want to ban TikTok over concerns its parent company could share information with the Chinese government. Taylor Barkley of the Center for Growth and Opportunity.
If it were asked, this is feasible, we could deliver that data on now over 100 million Americans to the Chinese Communist Party.
Chu has also promised to guard against foreign influence.
Chu's also promised to do that by putting U.S. user data behind a firewall. In Colorado, authorities say they found the body of a 17-year-old suspected of shooting two school administrators at Denver East High School on Wednesday. ABC's Alex Stone says this student was under an agreement to be patted down each day.
When they went and looked for weapons, he was in a secluded area away from other students. Two faculty members were with him, and police say he pulled out a gun, shot those faculty members, and then ran away.
One faculty member was released from a hospital. The other is still in serious condition. Armed police officers will now return to Denver schools. Supporters and demonstrators against former President Donald Trump have been gathering outside of a courthouse in Lower Manhattan where a grand jury could reconvene today. They're weighing a possible indictment stemming from payments made to adult actress Stormy Daniels in 2016. Trump supporter Susan Miller said,
"Look, he's not perfect. Are any of us perfect? But he loves our country, and they put him through so much, and he's still going to do it again, and we're going to win."
Things looked good for Relativity Space.
Liftoff.
First ever rocket made on a 3D printer lifted off successfully, but then it failed Wednesday night after about 3 minutes and did not reach orbit. You're listening to ABC News.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
South Korea now says the latest North Korean missile test launch included 4 cruise missiles. Those tests coincided with military exercises being run by South Korea and the U.S. More deaths are now being connected to eye drops. At least 3 people have died across the U.S., and 8 more have lost their vision after using drops that were contaminated with an aggressive bacteria. More than 10 different brands of artificial tears have been recalled. Most of the cases are linked to Ezracare and Delsam Pharma eye drops. There are new charges relating to an old murder in Ohio.
Her then-fiancé, John Carter, was the last known person to see Caitlin Markham alive, telling affiliate WCPO this when she disappeared.
I'm absolutely terrified. I just want to find Caitlin and celebrate her birthday with her and go to Red Lobster like she was planning.
But now Carter is charged with 2 counts of felony murder.
We all suspected that he had something to do with it.
Caitlin's father, Dave,
still trying to put my hands around it, but this is finally over.
Caitlin went missing in 2011. Her skeletal remains were found in 2013 in a remote wooded area. Lionel Moyes, ABC News.
Attempts to ban books are surging across the United States. A report coming out today from the American Library Association says more than 1,200 challenges to books were reported across the country in 2022. That's the most on record. This is ABC News.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
Does that old tractor or lawnmower have more electrical tape or duct tape holding it together than you want to admit? Well, maybe it's time to see Phil Sheehan and his staff at NC Tractor for a new Massey Ferguson tractor or mower. Massey Ferguson is a company that's been around for over 175 years. That says a lot about a company. And paired with Phil Sheehan, who's been in business for over 25 years, that says a lot about his Phil and his staff. Knowledgeable about their product, and they stand behind every sale. Massey Ferguson is the last tractor you'll ever need. NC Tractor, a dependable and reliable company that'll be there after the sale. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford.
Over the next couple of days, we are definitely going to be seeing some warm weather with some spots tomorrow even challenging records. Today, not quite record territory, but still near 80 with lots of sunshine by the afternoon. It'll be warm and breezy. We drop into the upper 50s and low 60s tonight, so actually a pretty mild night heading into our Friday morning as well. Mostly sunny and breezy tomorrow with high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Anthony Baglione in the Weather Center.
Well, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's 48 degrees right now, and we'll get higher to 77 for our daytime high today. We have a little gust wind, about 21 miles per hour. Tonight, dropping back to 57 for our low, with a wind gust as high as 18 miles per hour tonight. So Friday looks good, too, and Saturday looks good. Almost summer-like weather, 76 on Saturday. We got about 79, almost 80 tomorrow. So it's going to be a pretty warm day here in the neighborhood. I like that warm weather, but hold on to those long johns. It may be a cold snap come back yet before it's all over with. Easter hadn't got here yet, so remember some Easters, don't you? That we've had some really cold weather. I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying don't forget it. 7:06 right now, some stories of items we'll get to, and we'll do the death announcements following the Bill O'Reilly morning update this morning. Yesterday, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Criminal Investigation Division began investigating a child abduction involving a 3-year-old of Malachi Blake Green of Rutherford County who had been taken in violation of a court order. An Amber Alert was issued for the child as the investigation began. Rutherford County investigators, along with the assistance of Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, Road Patrol Division, United States Marshal Office, Stanley County Sheriff's Office, and Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department, were able to locate Michaela Green in Oakboro, North Carolina. Malakia Green, I guess it is, has been safely returned to family members. Information regarding charges in this incident will be released at a later date. Rutherford County Sheriff's Office would like to thank each agency that assisted in this investigation. The abducted child has been located safe, so the Amber Alert has been called off. Good work on the team up for a lot of different agencies helped on that, so that's good. Well, county leaders continue to hear complaints about the recent property tax reevaluations. Property owners across Rutherford County received the new valuations in the mail last month. The values are much higher than most people anticipated, and citizens who own property and are concerned about what this means for their tax bills. The county government administers the reevaluation process and uses the valuation to determine the county tax rate. Municipal governments also use the official county revaluations as they set the town tax rates. So the town leaders are concerned. The county commissioners set the county tax rate based upon recommendations from the county manager and his staff who create the county budget. The budget process is just now beginning, and the new county tax rate will be set in June. There are two different meetings tonight to discuss this and answer questions and get concerns answered. Two of them, the concerned citizens are meeting tonight at 6 o'clock at the Rutherfordton Clubhouse. They planned their meeting. And that's open to anybody who wants to come and find some statistics, those kind of things. And the county commissioners are having one of their own at the Rutherford County Annex where they normally meet. And this is at 6 o'clock as well. The county commissioners hopefully will all be there, and you'll get a chance to pose questions, I think, to them. So there'll be two different meetings going on at the same time. The taxpayers, concerned citizens, planned theirs and for several weeks down the road, past weeks, and they're scheduled tonight at 6 o'clock at the Rutherford Clubhouse. And it's not a political thing. It's a nonpartisan for everybody. So if you want to come to that, but if you want to go to the one the commissioners are doing at 6 o'clock at the Annex, that's going to be there as well. So too bad they're having two different ones. Looks like they could all gotten together and had one, but it didn't work out that way. I don't know why they couldn't work together on that. But anyway, you're open to go to either one of those.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, if you are a timeshare owner, you're probably upset that your yearly dues continue to increase. Lone Star Transfer guarantees the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and done in a specific time frame. They're the only company you can trust, having helped more than 18,000 owners legally and permanently get out. So please call Lone Star Transfer 855-551-7066 or visit LoneStarTransfer.com. On this Thursday, the people advising Florida Governor Ron DeSantis believe now is his time. They think he can win the Republican nomination and be elected president in 2024. I say the governor has a shot, but needs to study up. He undeniably has done an excellent job running Florida, but so did Jeb Bush. Basking in the sunshine is not enough to secure the Oval Office. Recently, DeSantis made a policy mistake by saying Ukraine is a dispute over territory and not a vital issue for the USA. That is a naive statement, because Putin is obviously on the march as he attempts to resurrect the Soviet Union. Enslaving millions of people is not something Americans endorse. Even more important is China's design to control Taiwan, a free state. If Putin wins in Ukraine, the Taiwanese are goners. The governor should know this. DeSantis also made a significant error by uttering the words porn star while discussing the Trump case. That set off the former president, who heard disrespect in those words from Governor DeSantis. If he really wants the top job, Ron DeSantis, he will eventually need millions of Trump voters to support him. So he might choose his words more carefully. Back after this. No question, there is a concerted effort to intimidate and silence conservative thinkers and replace our God-given individual liberty with big government controls. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization in America. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits and all kinds of great content. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Let the WCAB marketing team go to work for your business. It works. Call Tracy or Jim at 287-3356.
Now I have these death announcements. Jamie Ramsey, age 47, of Ellenboro, passed away at Atrium Health, Cleveland, March 17th. The funeral service will be conducted at 2 o'clock today at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. Burial will follow at Gooch Creek Baptist Church Cemetery. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Again, that's Jamie Ramsey of Ellenboro, and Harrelson Funeral Home is serving the family. David Allen Osborne, age 70, of Rutherfordton, died Saturday, March 18th at Spartanburg Regional Medical Center. No formal services will be held, and the pageant at King Mortuary and Crematory is serving the family of David Allen Osborne. Patricia Diane Russell, age 69, of Rutherfordton, passed away Monday, March 20th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. A day of celebration to honor Diane's life will take place on Saturday, March 25th. Doesn't say where in this particular announcement, but Harrelson Funeral Home is serving the family. You can contact Harrelson Funeral Home for more information on Patricia Diane Russell. Wanda Rose Strassenberg, 85, of Ellenboro, died Tuesday, March 21st. The funeral will be conducted at 2 o'clock Friday, March 24th at Cane Creek Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. The visitation will be from 1 until 1:45 Friday at the church prior to the service. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service is in charge of those arrangements for Wanda Rose Strassenberg. Arthur Robert King, age 83, of Rutherfordton, died Wednesday, March 15th. Those arrangements are incomplete and will be announced by the pageant and King Mortuary. Again, that's That's Arthur Robert King. Annabelle Toms Smith, aged 96, of Forest City, died Sunday, March 18th at Fairhaven of Forest City. The funeral service will be held 2 o'clock today in the Pageant and King Chapel. Burial will follow in the Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery. The family will receive friends from 1 until 2 o'clock prior to the service at the mortuary. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Annabelle Toms Smith. Everett Lee Rhodes, age 81, of Union Mills, died Sunday, March 19th. The family will receive friends from 1 until 2 at Welcome Home Baptist Church, Friday, the 24th. Services will follow at 2 o'clock, and burial will take place at the church cemetery. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Everett Lee Rhodes. Doris Ruth Fisher Sanders of Mooresboro passed away at her home on Monday, March 20th. There will be a receiving of friends and family from 6 until 8 o'clock this evening at Harrelson Funeral Home. Harrelson is serving the family of Doris Ruth Fisher Sanders. James Jed Doggett, age 59, of Lake Lure, passed away March 1st. The family will receive friends at 10 a.m. Saturday, May 6th at McMahon's Funeral Home in Rutherfordton. The celebration of life will be held at McMahon's on Saturday, May 6th at 11 o'clock, followed by burial in the Rutherford County Cemetery. McMahon's Funeral Home is serving the family of James Jed Doggett. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others as they become available to us, can be heard this morning at 11:30 and then again at 5:10 for the part of the afternoon called Around the County newscast. Now it's time for us to go to the phones in a couple of minutes to find out what's been happening around the neighborhood right after this.
As with many criminals of Mexican ancestry in the Southwest during the mid-1800s, legend says that Tiburcio Vasquez became a criminal because of abuse at the hands of white men. However, it was more likely that he was just a juvenile delinquent born into a well-to-do Monterey, California family who chose a life of crime. Supposedly, when Tiburcio was just 18, he killed a man. What is known is that at the age of 19, he was arrested for stealing cattle and sentenced to 5 years in San Quentin. The prison authorities probably should have designated a permanent Tiburcio Vasquez cell. For 2 months after he got out, Tiburcio was back at San Quentin on larceny charges. And almost as soon as he served his time for this crime, he was back, this time charged with armed robbery. At the age of 32, Tiburcio got out of San Quentin, but he obviously had not learned his lesson because he continued his life of crime. 2 years after his last prison stretch, Tiburcio escaped a posse after being shot up following a stage robbery. Then, a year later, while robbing a store with 6 cohorts, Tiburcio killed 4 unarmed men. With a reward posted of $8,000 alive or $6,000 dead, in 1874, Tiburcio was captured following a shootout in which he was shot 6 times. He was taken to San Jose, tried, convicted, and on March 19, 1875, this 5'7", 130-pound terror of California was hanged. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
The future depends on teachers. Every day, teachers are shaping our tomorrows, starting their students on journeys that will change the course of history. Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who will make preventing pandemics their life's work, sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who will help combat climate change, and generating possibilities for a student who will be the first in their family to graduate college. It all starts with teachers who meet challenges with creativity, who reinvent education for the future. who work towards a school system that lifts up every child, regardless of race, income, or zip code, and to enable the full potential of our students, our communities, and our country. Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Shape the future. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
And we salute and recognize all of our teachers across the Fruity Plain here in Rutherford County. We appreciate what you do. It's a real challenge, we know. 20 minutes after 7 o'clock, let's go now to the phones and find out what's been going on. And Officer King is with us to give us all the news. Good morning. How are you?
Doing good. How you doing today, Jim?
I'm doing pretty good. Was it foggy where you came in from?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully the sun will come up and burn it off.
I think so, too. Right now it's pretty thick out here outside our place, and maybe it'll burn off after a bit. I hope so, anyway. What's on the report today?
In the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Department responded to 118 calls for service. There were 9 arrests processed in the jail. The jail currently has 177 people incarcerated. Don't have any incident reports for you this morning. On our arrest reports, Brian Rogers from Jonestown Road in Ballstick was served with a warrant for larceny of a motor vehicle. Received a $5,000 secured bond. Christopher Stamper from Googe Creek Church Road in Mooresboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,000 secured bond. Katrina Moody from Newton Cole Road in Forest City was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor and also a criminal summons for communicating threats, received a $500 secured bond. Virginia Bailey from Area 221 Circle in Rutherford was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. James Phillips from McDowell Street in Mooresboro was served with 3 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. April Poyer from Wallace Road in Ellenboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 unsecured bond. And a Damon Montgomery from Country Home Drive in Forest City was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor and received a $500 secured bond. That's all we have for today.
Thank you. It's rare that you don't have any incidents at all happening. I think that's great night. Nobody called anything in.
Right.
Let's keep up that good work.
We're going to try to.
Officer King, you be safe out there, and I'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Have a good day.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
And here's Melissa with a report from the Communications Center. Melissa, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Tell us what's on the list.
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County 911 Communications has processed a total of 296 911 administrative calls. These consisted of 60 for emergency medical services, 118 for the Sheriff's Office, 50 for the town of Forest City, 21 for Rutherfordton, 2 for Lake Lure, and 19 for Spindale. Ellenboro responded to a motor vehicle accident, Ellenboro Fire Department. Forest City Fire Department responded to a fire alarm. Green Hill Fire Department responded to a motor vehicle accident, and Hudlow responded to a motor vehicle accident. And that's all.
I appreciate it. Thank you, and have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
SDO report. Here's Ruby Taylor reporting this morning. Hi, Ruby.
Hey.
What's on your report?
I don't know. They ain't got nothing.
Been quiet for 2 or 3 days.
That's good.
On my birthday calendar, I got Teddy White, Nathan Fulton, and Jennifer Davis having birthdays, and hope all those people have a nice day. And the sun's in the nick today and tomorrow. And that's all I got, Jim.
Thanks so much, Ruby. You have a good day.
You too.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. All right, let's get Chris on the radio now this morning, find out what's going on around Chimney Rock Lake, Lure, and Bills Creek. Chris Melton, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jim. How are you doing?
I'm good. Is it foggy up there?
No.
No? Must have moved all down this way because we got fog out here on White Side Road. So you can,
yeah?
You can see clear skies, I guess, this morning then.
Oh, yeah. It's nice. It's already about 50 degrees. Supposed to get up in the mid-70s.
It is. It's going to be nice today.
Have to start breaking out the shorts.
Yes. Our golf clubs, our fishing tackle.
Well, fishing sounds really good. Golf clubs, not so much, unless they want to fix the holes behind me.
Yeah, right. Now, is that Lake Lure Municipal Golf Course, is it closed?
It is.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, there's no fire calls to report, which is a good thing from none of the fire departments up this way. But I do want to let y'all know about an event going on. It's a community first aid and CPR training course. It's going to be held at the Bills Creek Community Center. It'll be Tuesday, April 18th at 6:30 in the evening. And one of the local paramedics in the county will be teaching that. And the address of that place is 198 Clubhouse Road in Lake Lure.
This coming Saturday, that's the 25th?
It'll be Tuesday, April 18th. So it's a little heads up.
Okay,
just to let everybody put it on their calendar.
Okay.
I'll mention it again for
good.
everybody.
Good. Well, that's good training for folks to have.
Yeah, I think it's really good for people to be knowledgeable in that area to help each other out.
Right, I agree. All right. Anything else, Chris?
That's it.
We appreciate you being on with us. You have a safe day up there.
Y'all have a great day as well.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Wayne's Lunchbox can satisfy the pickiest of eaters at lunch or dinner or supper, whatever you want to call it. You can enjoy salads, sandwiches, a limited meat and veggie menu at lunchtime, and then for supper, your choice of a meat and vegetables. And Wayne's will be serving breakfast for supper the first of each month. Call on Wayne's for any catering event that you may have, offering catering service, so stop by 391 East Main Street in Spindale. Call 828-395-2225. Open Monday through Thursday, 11 until 2, for supper, 3 until 7.
Well, I'll have to admit, I'll face up. I went up by Wade's last night on the way home, picked up a couple of meals for Faye and me. It was the chicken pie, 2 vegetables to go with it each. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I have to admit it. It was good. And here's DeVern Upton now. I almost said singing to us, but here's DeVern Upton telling us what's going on.
You want me to sing to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm afraid you wouldn't call me no more. Oh, Lordy. Well, the temperature is 48 degrees over here, getting a little warmer. Fire department had no calls. Food boxes are being given out at Washburn's outreach this morning from 9 to 12:30. That's off of Piney Church Road. And then Faith Baptist Church is giving out food boxes Saturday from 8 to 10. And Whistle Stop Bakery, stop in on Boston Sunshine Road right there and get you across the railroad tracks and get you bakeries for the weekend. She has some delicious bakeries. And hope everyone has a wonderful day.
You have a wonderful day as well, DeVern, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale, 828-287-9197. And here's Robbie Samuel now reporting to us from Rutherford Fire District and also Hudlow. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Robbie Samuel. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Jim. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good.
Hey, that's good. It's a little foggy, but that's all right. It'll clear up soon, won't it?
Yes, it will. I can't see across the road, but I know it'll clear out here pretty soon.
No, I can't see across the road neither, but I can see Friday.
I can.
It'll be here tomorrow.
It will. It will. Yes, so will. The weekend's
That's
coming.
right. That's exactly right. Well, Jim, with Rutherford Fire Department, we had a few medical calls yesterday and assisted SDO with a public assist. And Hudlow, they was quiet. They got dispatched to a motor vehicle crash, but it ended up not being anything, so they got canceled. So that was another good thing on Hudlow's part. And other than that, it was quiet through the night. I don't have really anything to report as far as community development or anything or going on right now, but I do just want to remind everybody that the town of Rutherford does have a little newsletter they email out once a month. It's called got tongue tied there for a minute. It's called Rutherford Sun. If they'll go to the town's website and it'll show you, it'll have a link on there where you can sign up and put your email in, and they'll email you various news through the town and community, which is it's very good. I signed up for it and read it. It's like I said, it's once a month and it's got some good information on it. Just want to remind everybody about that. And other than that, Jim, I think that's all I got going on this morning.
All right, Robbie, I appreciate it, and you be safe, and we'll talk again tomorrow morning.
Sounds good, Jim. You have a good day.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
What if I told you about a building that's maybe 3 or 4 big rooms full of merchandise, new merchandise, that sells for $1 or $5, and it's got something for everybody, including children's clothes for school, mom and dad's shirts, bang-around shirts. They have pets, tools or toys. They've got electronics. They've got ladies, men's, and children's shoes, 50 cents. All clothes, ladies, men's, and children's, only 50 cents. Many of your favorite brand name labels, too. Tons of collectibles and figurines. Beautiful cobalt blue dishes and luggage also available. Yeah. You say where? Of course, it's Anchordown, downtown Forest City, right across from Carolina Chiropractic. They're open Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays only. So you need to get on down there and do some shopping today. It's like an indoor flea market, except these are new items. So go check it out. All righty, then. Let's head over toward Cherry Mountain Fire District and say good morning to Sue Price. Good morning to Sue Price.
Good morning, Jim.
Hope you're doing well today.
I'm doing okay. I hope you are.
Yes, indeed.
Good. It's kind of foggy over here.
Yeah, we got some of that big fog, too. It must be just spotted in parts of the county. Everybody don't have it.
Well, everybody better be careful. They might run into some.
That's right.
We have been having too many automobile accidents lately. Just be careful out there driving. Well, let's see. I didn't have any calls from the fire department. I don't have any birthdays on my Duncan's Creek Church calendar. On my personal calendar, I've got Jason Johnson and an anniversary for Teague and Megan Ernst. Hope they'll all have a good day. First Broad has birthdays for Jacob Queen and Melinda Smith. So happy birthday to them. And nothing on Fairviews today. So not too many celebrating. No, if anybody's having a birthday or anniversary, will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And last night was the last night for the revival at Fairview. So, and we got to go to, man, and Ron took us up. But Bo Wagner was the speaker last night, and I'd been to hear him. I've
really?
enjoyed his columns in the paper.
Oh, yeah.
So he did a good job.
I would love to have heard him.
Yeah. And as far as I know, that's the only announcement and the only news I've got this morning. It's just quiet and calm, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
You have one too, Sue, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, this morning, kind of more like this foggy morning, summertime's coming back, and you just want a good breakfast, to go by the Drop-In Family Mart there in Bostic. You go by the deli and tell them this is what I'd like to have, and they do breakfast all kinds of ways. They even have a breakfast pizza that you can enjoy. So get sausage and eggs and liver mush and gravy and biscuits, and they have a great breakfast there. Or if you like something, want to take something home for lunch, they got lunch and breakfast. Get great dishes, great specials, and I think you would enjoy doing business with them. They're good home folks. If you're buying something for the weekend on the steak, they got a great meat market. You can take a big steak home with you and cook it on the grill and invite us all over for it. It's a great place. Drop-In Family Mart there in Boston. Got plenty of propane and the grocery aisle. And they'll help you with your groceries if you need it. It's just family run and family owned, and it's a great place. Drop-In Family Mart right across from the post office on the Bostic Sunshine Highway. Good morning, Tina White.
Good morning. So you had your coffee this morning?
I have had, I'm working on my third cup.
Well, I'm just working on my first. Just been sipping.
You got to catch up with me.
No, if I had 3 cups, I'd be running around Shingle Hollow crazy. Well, like I said yesterday, I enjoyed the music. I'm going to look up the words to that. I just came to talk to you, Lord. That was so pretty.
That's a great song. I love it.
Well, let's get to Shingle Hollow. So it's 49 degrees.
Look up Dottie Rambo, and it'll probably be there. Or you can look up I Just Came to Talk with You, Lord lyrics, and you'll find it there as well.
Dottie Rambo. I'm writing it down as we speak.
Okay.
Okay. So 49 degrees here in Shingle Hollow this morning. Fire department was all quiet the past 24 hours. White House Community Clubhouse is having their country buffet breakfast this Saturday from 7 to 10 a.m. And Kevin Lovelace is an instructor of a concealed handgun safety course. That's going to be April 1st. Begins at 8 a.m. at the American Legion Post 74, which is the old Green Hill School. There is a sign-up sheet at Green Hill Store, and the cost is $60. He's a great instructor. If you're interested in this course, now's the time to do it, April 1st. And birthdays today. We don't have any anniversaries, but birthdays for Sarah Brigman and Joni Self, and I hope both these young ladies have a very happy birthday. If you know them, tell them happy birthday. And I think that's all I have this morning.
All right, Tina. Thank you for being with us, and you have a great day.
Have a wonderfully blessed day. Stay safe out there and drive safely because it is foggy.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
Good morning, Brenda Kelly from Union Mills. How are you?
Good morning, Jim Bishop from Whiteside Road in Ruffin. How are you?
I'm a little foggy, but other than that, I'm doing great.
Well, it's foggy here, too.
Is it?
Yeah, I can't see you down there.
I can't see you either. I
So,
can
well,
recognize
that's
your voice,
probably
though.
good. Do what?
I recognize your voice, though.
Oh, well, that's good. Probably a good thing you can't see me.
Oh, yeah?
No, I'm up and dressed and ready to go this morning. I got to go get my B12 shot.
Okay.
So get poked by the nurse. But we hope everybody's having this. Let's say this is a tremendous Thursday morning, and the sun's going to come out, isn't it?
It is. It's going to be a beautiful day.
Well, good. I'm glad it's supposed to get up in the 70s, isn't it?
Today it's going to be 77, near 77, and tomorrow almost 80.
Well, you can break out your Bermuda shorts, can't you?
You'd love that, would you?
You crazy, Jim. Oh, me. Who's going to take your place next week?
Well, Todd Kaiser's going to do the call-around report.
Oh, Todd's going to do the call-around report?
Yeah.
Good. I thought maybe he would. I didn't know.
He has another full-time job. He can't come back full-time, but he's going to come in and do the call-around, the report starting Monday, the 2nd or 3rd of April. April the 3rd it will be.
Well, good.
So he knows the way around, so he'll be doing good.
Yeah, and I have missed Todd.
Yeah, we have too.
That's good. Well, good. That'll be a familiar person that we know. We won't have to, because I had already made up my mind if it was somebody I didn't know and I didn't feel comfortable talking to, I was going to give up my morning report.
Yeah, well, now you don't have to. You know Todd.
Yeah, I know Todd.
Yeah,
So
I'm not sure what they're going to do yet with the 6 to 7 hour and 8 to 9 hour, but we got 7 to 8 taken care of.
Well, that's good. Well, let's see. I've got 44 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays and anniversaries, but I've got one announcement. Thumber City United Methodist Church at 301 Thumber City Road, Union Mills, going to have a spaghetti supper Saturday, April the 1st, 4 p.m. until. Adults is $10, children $5, under age 5 eat free, and they have takeout orders available also. So far, that's all I got going on that I know of, so I guess you better get to Ellenburg and check on Luther.
All right, I'll do it. You have a good day.
Okay, catch you later.
Bye-bye. Well, Tracy and I had the privilege of going up to Washburn General Store this week. Boy, was it really nice. Tracy was impressed with all they've got in there. It's been a while since she had been there, she said, and I didn't know they had this. Boy, look at this. And I saw rack after rack after rack of overalls. This time of year for you doing your gardening and working outside, or just like to wear them because they're comfortable. They got a great selection of overalls. And they got a tremendous selection of some of the old-fashioned toys that we grew up with, played with when we were youngsters. They've got a selection of those. You'll love seeing those and love buying them and playing with them. Maybe sharing them with your grandkids. Go by Washburn Store. Such nice people over there. They just make you feel really good when you go in. You'll enjoy your visit with Washburn General Store. They're closed on Wednesdays, but they're open the other days. Go visit them. Our historically significant Washburn General Store between Bostic and Sunshine on the Bostic Sunshine Highway. Now we are going over to Ellenboro. See what Lucy Gilligan's up to. Good morning.
Good morning. Having a great day down here. You ought to be here.
I wish I was there, man.
Yes, coffee's good. Everything's good down here. But it's quiet this morning. Not hard going on. Everybody's just trying to get their coffee and get on into work. The fire department had 2 accidents yesterday. Had them right together. Took both of them same place. Investigate one, they had another one. but they're quiet this morning. Nothing going on with them. Everything going good down here, so you have a great day, Bear. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Luther, thank you very much, and I'll see you then. Keep us posted.
All right, take care now.
Bye. And that leaves us time for birthdays and celebrations for the 23rd, March 23rd. Birthdays and anniversaries can be called in to us now at 287-3356, 287-3356. Tracy's standing by up there to take those birthday calls, and you could call right now. Meanwhile, think about lunch today. Think about lunch, and they put these two together, lunch and Granny B's. Lunch and Granny B's go together like Lou Costello, Bud Ibe, Lou Costello. You know, they sort of matches go together. Why don't you try lunch at Granny B's today? If you've never, go do it and order your sub the way you like to have it, loaded down or just a few items on it. They'll fix it either way. It's a good place, locally owned and locally run, right here in Spindale. Granny B's.
Happy birthday.
Well, I want to wish a happy birthday to Amanda Mathis, 34 today from Rutherfordton. So, Amanda, have a happy birthday. Thank you for sharing it with us and let us be a part of it. Thanks for being a part of our birthday club right here at WCAB. Now, stand by. Keys to Confident Living coming up. We'll take you down memory lane. Classic oldies right here.
Breezewood, Pennsylvania, I took a wrong turn on I-70 south rather than my intended route of I-76 north and east. I wasn't far out of town before I realized
ABC News. I'm Brian Clark. The waiting game continues as to whether a grand jury in New York will bring an indictment against former President Donald Trump. ABC's Aaron Katursky is outside the courthouse.
The next chance for an indictment could be today. The grand jury did not convene Wednesday, but it is expected back this afternoon, and it may hear from at least one additional witness. The most recent witness was Trump attorney Bob Costello. He told grand jurors they should not rely on Michael Cohen, who has said Trump directed him to pay off porn actress Stormy Daniels and then book the money as a legal expense.
Armed police will be back in schools in Denver today, one day after two administrators at East High School were injured. Authorities say they were shot by a 17-year-old student who was under an agreement to be patted down each day. That led to a lockdown and anxious moments for parents.
I'm not the only one. Every single parent, every grandparent here, just what you go through in your mind when you don't know what's happening, you don't know where the shooter is, you're not sure where your kids are, where your grandkids are.
Body of the shooter was found in Park County. One of the administrators was released from a hospital, the other in serious condition. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has not announced if he's running for president, but he is stepping into the national spotlight today. He'll hold a press conference amid a proposed expansion of a state rule that restricts discussion of sexuality and gender issues in public schools. ABC's Mary Bruce has more.
DeSantis has built a brand on cultural divisions, supporting limitations on gender-affirming care for transgender youth, restrictions on drag performances, and has banned transgender athletes from playing girls' and women's sports.
CEO of TikTok set to testify today on Capitol Hill amid calls for a ban on the Chinese-owned app. And a day after the Federal Reserve announced an interest rate increase, the weekly jobless number set to be released this morning, expected to show hiring is still strong. You're listening to ABC News.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
The first launch of a rocket almost entirely made out of 3D printed parts did not quite make orbit after it took off from Cape Canaveral, but it's still being called a success.
The rocket that lifted off before midnight was made almost entirely of 3D printed parts. It made it through what's called max Q, when the aerodynamic pressure is the greatest after launch. But the second stage rocket sputtered and shut down.
Although we didn't reach orbit, we significantly exceeded our key objectives for this first launch.
On the company's website, Relativity Test Program Manager Arwa Tizani Kelly said the maiden launch was a huge win, despite not reaching orbit. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
There's a new job for the Cuban boy who set off an international custody battle. Elian Gonzalez was 5 years old when his mother tried to escape from Cuba but died during the trip. He made it, but eventually was returned to his father in Cuba. Now 29, Gonzalez is becoming a legislator in Cuba. He's set to take his seat next week. In New York, a stinky rescue after a 911 call came from a group of 11 and 12-year-olds.
What's the address in San Antonio?
We don't know.
You don't know?
Oh, yeah, we're stuck in the sewers.
You're stuck where?
In the sewers.
Yes, in the sewers. Those kids were stuck for a while until firefighters were able to get them out of an underground drain pipe. No one was seriously hurt. This is ABC News.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's A-N-G-I, or download the app today.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
We'll see some clouds during the morning, but overall lots of sunshine on the way for us today. It is going to be breezy with winds gusting about 20 to 25 miles an hour. That's going to help to bring in some warmer weather this afternoon. Temperatures will be near 80 today. Then into tonight, mostly clear and mild with overnight temperatures near 60. For our Friday, near record territory with high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Anthony Baglione in the Weather Center.
46 degrees here in this Thursday land of WCAB, 46 degrees, and it's dropped a little bit from 48 down to 46, but it'll be climbing back up to near 77 for the daytime high and partly cloudy skies. There'll be some wind today, wind gust as high as 21 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear with lows around 57, and let's look further into the weekend. The weekend, I think, is going to be kind of nice. Partly cloudy with some scattered showers maybe early Saturday morning from Friday night. But then I think it goes away because Saturday night mostly clear with lows around 46. And then Sunday, partly cloudy with a high near 70. The warmest temperature looks like we're going to have is going to be Friday with a high near 79. That's almost 8, possibly even could get to 80. So you ready for summertime? Here in, what is it, third, fourth day of springtime? Crazy weather. We have nothing's ever boring about our weather. We have a Braves game coming up on Sunday. It's a preseason game, but we'll have the Braves and the Pirates in Atlanta. It's 11:50 air time and 1:05 first pitch, and we'll join the Braves about that time. We'll have 11 o'clock worship service from Spencer at 11 o'clock, and they'll get out at 12, and we'll see what happens for that point. But the first pitch is 1:05. You'll not miss anything. The Owls are gearing up for another exciting season. We'll see what's going to happen with them and see if they can have another good season with the Forest City Owls. We got some news from here and there coming up next.
Mission Health Center Rutherford is now open in Forest City, a multi-specialty clinic with care for the whole family. From routine preventative care to the treatment of chronic conditions, our providers offer a personalized approach to meet your specific needs. Now accepting new patients. Call 828-659-5741 to make an appointment today. Mission Health Center Rutherford. Quality care close to home.
The Rutherford County Sheriff's Office is seeking the public's assistance in locating a missing person, Philip Cullen Burr. As far as I know, he's still missing. He's 40 years old, white male. He's 5'7" and weighs approximately 180 pounds. He has blue eyes and blonde hair. If you have information at all regarding the whereabouts of Philip Burr, please contact the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office at 828-286-2911, or you can contact Crime Stoppers at 828-286-8477, and always you can remain anonymous. The Amber Alert that they sent out yesterday afternoon on a 3-year-old boy, he has been found safe and sound. An Amber Alert was canceled after a 3-year-old boy was found, according to the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office. Deputies said the incident began when the suspect allegedly took the 3-year-old in violation to a court order. After the child was reported missing, an Amber Alert was issued and law enforcement began their searching. According to deputies, the 3-year-old was later found in Oakboro, North Carolina, and returned to family members. They added that they plan to release information about the suspect later. Right now, they do not have that information, but the little boy has been found safe and sound, which is a good thing. They had the assistance of the Road Patrol, the United States Marshal Services, Stanley County Sheriff's Office, and Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. They were able to locate Michaela Green in Oakboro. Michaela has been safely returned to family members. So it was a cumulative effort by a lot of different agencies to help bring that child home safely. Well, you've been hearing a lot about two conflicting meetings taking place tonight about the revaluation discussions. Well, the community leaders that organized theirs that'll be at the Rutherfordton Clubhouse at 6 o'clock. and the county commissioners called a session to meet at that same time at 6 o'clock at the Rutherford County Annex Building. They're not the only ones. The citizens that are meeting tonight at 6 o'clock at the clubhouse are not the only ones that are concerned about the tax rate being lowered. County leaders continue to hear complaints about the recent property tax reevaluation. Property owners across the county received their new valuations in the mail last month. The values are much higher than most people anticipated, and citizens who own property are concerned about what this means for their tax bills. The county government administers the evaluation process and uses the valuations to determine the county tax rate. Municipal governments also use the official county revaluation as they set the town tax rates. County commissioners set the county tax rate based on upon recommendations from the county manager and his staff, who create the county budget. The budget process is just now beginning, and the new county tax rate will be set in June. County commissioners have said repeatedly that there will be a county tax rate reduction in a lot of the new property valuations. Commission Chairman Brian King at the March meeting of county commissioners also encouraged municipal leaders to drop their tax rates. Many town leaders are saying that they will do just that. Town manager of Rutherford, Doug Barrick, said the news shock in the county as most everyone saw a large increase in property values. In Rutherford, values have increased across the board by a whopping 45%. Barrick went on to say, we would like to make one thing clear. While the tax value has increased by 45%, we expect that tax rates will decrease significantly to help offset the highest values. The town of Rutherford is currently doing revenue neutral exercise that calculates what the tax rate would be to generate the same revenue with the highest values. Barrick and other officials point out that the large property values increase is not only happening in Rutherford County, it's happening across the state. And until there is a larger inventory of available housing options, officials say supply and demand will continue to drive up property values. Spindale Town Manager Scott Weber says Spindale will also likely see a large reduction in its tax rate. Weber said we're working toward a revenue neutral budget, but with inflation, cost of operations are up. Spindale Mayor Mickey Bland said, I'm also a property owner and I don't want to pay higher taxes just like everyone else. Our tax rate will be reduced. An individual's tax bill may not remain the same, but we want them all to be sensible and reasonable. I want everyone's taxes to be as low as possible. Rutherford County government leaders, including commissioners and the county manager, will host a public meeting dedicated to discussing the property reevaluation. The meeting will be this evening at 6 o'clock at the Rutherford County Administration Building, County Annex. There will be additional seating in an overflow room, and the meeting will be live streamed on the internet as well. Now, the concerned citizens will also be meeting at 6 o'clock. They'll be meeting at the Rutherfordton Clubhouse, and there's limited seating there as well, so they're going to be streaming, I think, their meeting as well. So decide which of those that you most likely want to attend. It's 13 minutes after 8 o'clock. I'll be back with more news from here and there in just a moment.
Hungry? Lunchtime, dinner time, anytime is a good time to stop in at Gregory's Original Restaurant. Choose from fresh, delicious burgers, fries, sandwiches, pasta dishes, fresh salads, grinders, and so much more. All orders are prepared fresh and to perfection. Open Monday through Friday, 11 till 9, Saturdays, noon till 9, closed on Sundays. Call in or carry out. 828-287-2171. Located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherfordton, and DoorDash delivery is available. Fast and friendly service. That's Gregory's Original Restaurant.
A lot of talk has been going on, a lot of planning has been taking place, and we've discussed this on this program many times. But leaders now appeal to Edwards for help in designation of the road out here, 74 being interstate. For more than 10 years, Rutherford County leaders have advocated for U.S. Highway 74 to be designated as a federal interstate between Polk County and Charlotte. A section of this road runs across southern Rutherford County. Officials say having the interstate designation would be a boost to the county's economic development efforts, as many potential companies are hesitant to come to a county that does not have an interstate highway within its borders. Advocacy took a step forward as several county leaders met recently in Hendersonville with U.S. Congressman Chuck Edwards to discuss his support. The group includes Foothills Regional Commission Executive Director Dana Stansberry, Foothills Regional Commission staff members Alan Toney, and Jordan Barnes, Rutherford County Manager Steve Garrison, and Rutherfordton Town Manager Doug Barrick. Their discussion centered on what has been done so far to secure this designation and how important it would be to the Rutherford County economy. Edwards asked if the group considered any potential negative effects, such as possible increase of drug traffickers using the highway and increased demand on public services. Garrison said, "We shared that since U.S. Highway 74 already functions as an interstate corridor and as a connector from I-26 to Charlotte without the federal designation, which we anticipate seeing a significant increase when the bypass is completed around Shelby and as the Tryon International Equestrian Center and the Two Kings Casino in Kings Mountain continue to grow." Barrick said editors asked some pretty tough questions. Local economy and development officials say Rutherford County has definitely missed out on some economic opportunities by not having an interstate highway in this county, when all other counties do, surrounding counties do. Overall, the officials who met with Congressman were pleased with the meeting, and some described it as a big step forward. Barrick said having Congressman Edwards and his team at the table shows a level of commitment to seeking solutions for this Rutherford County, and the designation of that 74 being designated interstate would help a lot. There'll be a lot of things, population growing, and a lot of businesses, new business coming. There'll be some hotels built along there, Cracker Barrel, things like that. You know what I'm saying. All right, 18 minutes past 8 o'clock. I'll be back in just a moment.
Robbins Painting Carpet has become the friend of folks who do their own work around the house and friends of the professional. Robbins Painting Carpet is the home of Benjamin Moore premium quality paint. It goes on easy the first time, every time. So save yourself some time with Benjamin Moore. Robbins provides expert help and advice to make every project a success. Call on the team at Robbins Painting Carpet and Floor Covering, 245-8801. Hours are Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30. They're located at 206 Commercial Drive in Forest City.
Well, many folks, everybody that I will run into and talk with and phone calls, everybody seems to be talking about the property valuations being too high. Well, some local realtors agree that the new property valuations are jarring and in some cases don't seem to be in line with actual value. Article in the recent Daily Courier on March 17th, Scott Carpenter was writing that many Rutherford County property owners were stunned when they received their property valuation in the mail, as I was. Some had properties that have increased by large percentages, some more than doubled in value. Outraged citizens have called local political leaders, and many expressed their concern at the meeting of Rutherford County Commissioners March 6th. Professional realtors are also saying that some of these valuations don't seem quite right, though many do seem in line with current market trends. Realtor Beth Helton of Robert Greene Real Estate in Forest City is currently serving as president of the Foothills Realtor Association. Helton has worked in real estate for more than 10 years. These new valuations are very hard for a lot of people to swallow, Helton said. I have never seen an increase in valuation this dramatic. In my opinion, most people do not mind and even expect some level of increase, but nothing like this. She says the new valuations are a bit surprising for her. Helton is encouraging property owners to go through protest process if they believe theirs is not accurate. She said, I would encourage any member of the public who owns property, if you think your valuation is too high, go through the proper property channels to lodge a protest. For the property owners, these new values mean money out of your pocket. My fear is that ultimately some people may not be able to stay in their home, Helton said. David Brown of Four Seasons Home and Land in Rutherfordton agrees that some property valuations seem unreasonably high. Brown is past president of Foothills Realtor Association. According to Brown, the shock with a lot of valuations could be because they were undervalued in the previous valuation. I don't know if that's true or not. Brown said the lack of inventory means in Rutherford County there is not a balanced market. County Commissioner said at their meeting in March that the county tax rate would be reduced, and they emphasized that they will be working toward having a revenue-neutral county tax rate. County Commission Chairman Ronnie King has encouraged the various towns within the Rutherford County to also make adjustments to their municipal tax rates. So it's a discussion that's going to go on for a while. As I mentioned, there are two meetings tonight. One of them is the citizens forming theirs. They first announced it to be Friday night at Trinity School, and then apparently somebody on the board decided it wasn't a good idea for them to have it there, so they canceled them out there, so they had to find another location. So they found the Rutherfordton Clubhouse, and they moved it over there at 6 o'clock tonight. Then the county commissioners having their official meeting at 6 o'clock tonight at the annex. So it'd be interesting to see how many people turn out and how many people have an option to do something about those things. If they could do that reevaluation over again, I don't know the circumstances around that. I don't know what that process includes, but if you're interested in it, you've got a lot of property interested in that, you may want to show up at this meeting tonight. 21 past 8 o'clock, the sheriff's report was given to us early by Officer King, and we have that recorded for broadcast at this time.
In the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Department responded to 118 calls for service. There were 9 arrests processed in the jail. The jail currently has 177 people incarcerated. Don't have any incident reports for you this morning. On our arrest reports, Brian Rogers from Jonestown Road in Ballstick was served with a warrant for larceny of a motor vehicle. Received a $5,000 secured bond. Christopher Stamper from Googe Creek Church Road in Mooresboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,000 secured bond. Katrina Moody from Newton Cole Road in Forest City was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor and also a criminal summons for communicating threats, received a $500 secured bond. Virginia Bailey from Area 221 Circle in Rutherford was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. James Phillips from McDowell Street in Mooresboro was served with 3 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. April Poyer from Wallace Road in Ellenboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 unsecured bond. And a Damon Montgomery from Country Home Drive in Forest City was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor and received a $500 secured bond. That's all we have for today.
America has a dire nursing shortage because nurses are overworked and exhausted. The American Nurses Association calls on the nation's leaders to support nurses' safety, health, and well-being. Nurses have always been there for us. Let's be there for them.
double-doubles, and double-figure rebounding games. Baycott led North Carolina to a runner-up finish in last year's NCAA tournament, and his decision to return was a major reason the Tar Heels were ranked number 1 in the preseason AP Top 25. The Tar Heels didn't come close to meeting those expectations, and they went 20-13 and opted against playing in the NIT. He has a 5th year of eligibility because of the waiver the NCAA granted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Charlotte Hornets signed center Nick Richards to a multi-year contract extension on Wednesday. Richards, a second-round pick in 2020, has appeared in 58 games with 5 starts this season. He's averaging career highs with 7.9 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 1.1 blocks in 18.2 minutes per game for the Hornets, forging a role as a backup center behind rookie Mark Williams. Michael Jordan is considering selling the Charlotte Hornets. The 6-time NBA champion is in negotiations to sell at least a portion of the franchise to a group that includes Hornets minority owner Gabe Plotkin. No deal is imminent. In 2019, Jordan sold a portion of the Hornets to Plotkin, a founder of Melvin Capital, and Daniel Sundheim of DI Capital, but Jordan still controlled the majority of the team's equity. It's unclear at this point if Jordan is looking to sell his entire majority stake in the team or just a portion of it. Jordan is the NBA's only black owner. He purchased the expansion team from Bob Johnson for $180 million in 2010. The team had a net worth of $1.7 billion after the 2022 season. You're listening to NCN Sports.
Join PBS North Carolina as we explore the world around us through stories that illuminate and moments that inspire. From PBS favorites like Masterpiece to local programs that celebrate our state and people. From educational resources for kids to emergency briefings that keep us secure, PBS North Carolina offers endless possibilities for discovery and wonder. Follow your curiosity at pbsnc.org.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Bidders trying to buy Manchester United have been given more time to submit second offers for the iconic soccer team. Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani has outlined his intention to make his second offer for United, and British billionaire Jim Ratcliffe is also expected to bid, although neither met Wednesday's 7 p.m. deadline. Both submitted indicative offers last month. Sheikh Jassim, the chairman of Qatar Islamic Bank, said he wants to return the club to the summit of the sport if he's successful in buying out the current owners, the Glazer family. United is expected to become the most expensive sports team in history, with the price estimated to reach $6 billion. Tonight in the NHL, the New York Rangers come to Carolina. They'll begin at 7 p.m. and March Madness is back with the Sweet 16. 8 teams play tonight beginning at 6:30. You're listening to NCN Sports.
We'll see some clouds during the morning, but overall lots of sunshine on the way for us today. It is going to be breezy with winds gusting about 20 to 25 miles an hour. That's going to help to bring in some warmer weather this afternoon. Temperatures will be near 80 today. Then into tonight, mostly clear and mild with overnight temperatures near 60. For our Friday, near record territory with high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Anthony Baglione in the Weather Center.
Good weather forecast for us as we approach the weekend. Looks like we get a little rain maybe tomorrow. Some rain coming down our way, maybe Friday night, and be gone by Saturday perhaps with maybe a few scattered showers Saturday morning. Then by the afternoon, we're up to about 76 for a daytime high, and southwest wind to 13 miles per hour with gusts as high as 23 miles per hour. And Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 46 degrees. Sunday, partly cloudy with highs near 70 and northwest wind to 9 miles per hour. Looks like the highest temperature we're going to get is going to be Friday with our highs near 79. It possibly could bump on into 80. We'll see what's going to take place at that point. So we'll watch that weather forecast for you. A couple of items from here. Let me remind you again that the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office still looking for missing person Philip Cullen Burr. The Rutherford County Sheriff's Office seeking the public's assistance in locating missing person Philip Cullen Burr. Philip is 40 years old, white male. He's 5'7" and weighs approximately 180 pounds. He has blue eyes and blonde hair. If you have any information regarding the whereabouts of Philip Burr, please contact the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office at 828-286-2911. Anonymous information can be submitted to the Rutherford County Crime Stoppers at 828-286-8477. So keep that in mind and help out all you can. We've been talking a lot about the unrest that's happening around the county with taxpayers and landowners and property owners who are upset about the reevaluation that's been taking place across all of county. And most folks that I know about are upset about the high cost. What they put down is double or triple in some cases. And there's a group of concerned citizens that have organized a meeting taking place tonight. One of those concerned citizens, who is a property owner, is Carl Napolitano. He's on the phone with you right now to talk a little bit about that. Carl, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Jim. I want to thank you for letting me share this time with you.
Sure, glad to have you on this morning. And it's on the hearts and minds of everybody, I think, around the county about the meeting that's scheduled. Tell us a little bit how that transpired and where it is and why it is.
Okay. Well, to begin with, last week we had gotten several calls. I'd gotten several calls from concerned taxpayers in the community about the reassessment and the skyrocketing assessments of 30, 40, 50, 60%. Sometimes some of them are even more than that. So I was speaking with people, and they were very concerned. Some of them didn't know what to do, how to go about appealing these things, what they could do. So I got on the line with a couple of people, and I said, I think we need to have some kind of a community meeting of some sort, maybe a town hall meeting or something, so that we can alleviate some of these fears and try and get some information out there and let people understand what's happening and how they can go about, pushing back on this thing and so forth and so on. So it was probably last Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe Wednesday, decided to call this town hall meeting. And I called around to find a place that we could have it. Called several different locations. One of them was the Trinity School, the Christian school, and they had told me Wednesday morning last week that it would be okay to do that, and I thought that would be great because it could hold 400 or 500 people. So at that point, I had called Brian King, the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, and I explained that to Brian. I said, there's a lot of concern in the community. And we'd like to have a meeting, and we'd like to have the commissioners or one or two or however many, Brian, come yourself, just come to this meeting so that we can have a question and answer session, just an open, honest forum to get some answers to these confusing situations. So I told them that we had gotten approval to have the meeting at the Trinity School on Friday, which would be tomorrow. On Friday at 6 o'clock. That was the only time they had available. I didn't think that was the best time, but it was the only time we could get. So we took it. Come to find out, or lo and behold, however you want to say that, is about maybe 2-3 hours later, early afternoon, they called back. Trinity called me back and said that they had reconsidered having this meeting, having us have this meeting there, and they decided against it. So I said, okay, that's fine. So hung up and scrambled around to try and find another location to have this meeting. That afternoon and in the morning, which would be last Thursday, a week ago, we secured the Rutherfordton Clubhouse, which is right behind the Rutherfordton Hospital off of 108. So we got that as a place to have our meeting. So I immediately called Brian King at that point and told him that we had to reschedule because of the situation with Trinity, and that we were going to now have it at the Rutherfordton Clubhouse, and it was going to be, instead of Friday, it was going to be Thursday at 6 p.m., 6 o'clock Thursday. And I wanted, again, to invite them all, or whoever could come to this meeting, to come. Well, Brian was a little bit standoffish on this. He didn't seem to be too receptive. I'm not sure what the reason was, but he was not. And he told me that he would have to check and see if he had any plans, or as a matter of fact, he even said I had to talk to my wife and see if there's anything going on with the family. But I will get back to you. I'll let you know if I can make your meeting. So I proceeded to contact all of the commissioners that day, which was a week ago Thursday. I contacted all the commissioners by text, by phone, and by email. I got to actually speak, with two or three of them. Three of them I think I spoke with, and told them, about the meeting. Thursday was going to be a meeting, 6 o'clock. It was going to be a town hall forum, questions and answers. I assured them that we had, security there. We were going to have, make sure it was a very respectful meeting. It was just going to be a question and answer in a small town setting. So they all kind of said the same thing. They said, well, we'll let you know. We're not sure if we can make that or not. I don't know if I can make that or not, but I'll get back to you. There was no mention ever of a meeting, and of course, there was no mention of their meeting on Thursday. So anyway, we proceeded, and I all weekend long, I've got the texts, I've got the emails, I've got the phone calls, all of that records that I tried all weekend to reach the commissioners and Steve Garrison, the county manager. Couldn't get a response. I texted, I emailed, I called. I couldn't get a response. Nothing. So finally, Monday, I went to the annex on Monday. Physically went there, and I knocked on some doors, and I tried to track down who I could track down. And I was basically stonewalled. They wouldn't talk to me. They wouldn't return my calls. They wouldn't come out of their office. Steve Garrison was there. I was told he was there. He was having lunch. I asked if I could speak to him. They came out and said, he can't talk to you. He's in a meeting. And he has since, I've never spoken to him. He's never called me back. So we proceeded, and we were said, okay, we're going to have our meeting. It's going to be Thursday, 6 p.m., and we're going to have our meeting. Well, lo and behold, Monday, about shortly after 3 o'clock, there was a press release that came out and said that the commissioners were calling a special meeting for Thursday at 6 p.m., same time as our meeting. So that was kind of curious to me. Like, why would they do that? They knew fully well. I mean, I couldn't have told them any clearer about our meeting on Thursday night. So anyway, we are going to proceed with our meeting Thursday night. They're going to have a commissioners meeting at the annex on Thursday night, tonight. And so what we're going to do is we're going to, at our meeting, just to go back up a little bit, our meeting, we're going to just have a town hall question and answer. There's going to be an open forum, questions from the floor. We're going to have some people there. We're going to have some real estate experts. We're going to have some people that are familiar with the appeals process, that type of thing. And we're going to try and get some information out to people that are looking for maybe some assistance or how to go about this, how to go about the appeals process and so forth and so on. So we're going to have a lot of information that we're going to put out to the people this evening and hopefully be able to help people. And we're also going to live stream the commissioners meeting into our meeting at the clubhouse. So we're going to give the benefit of both meetings, our meeting and the meeting with the commissioners. The object of this originally, Jim, right from the start, there was no agenda, there was no political motives, there was nothing involved other than a lot of confusion in the community that we needed to straighten out and get answers for. And I asked Brian if there was going to be some kind of a meeting to answer these questions, and he did not respond to me. He had no information about any meetings being called or anything of that nature. So we are going to proceed. We're just going to proceed, and we're going to have our meeting and hopefully answer a bunch of questions. And I spoke in the meantime this week. I had a few calls from the commissioners. I talked with David Hunt and Mike Benfield and a couple of the others, and they all told me that they were sorry that they couldn't come to my meeting now because there was a special meeting called by Brian for the same time, Thursday at 6 o'clock. come to find out, through people that had talked to the commissioners, friends and people and on the street and so forth and so on, this meeting was arranged by Brian King to basically step on our meeting, to kind of push us aside, which I didn't think was a very good thing for a leader of the community like that, the leader of the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, to do something like that. But he chose to do that, and I don't know why he chose to do that. And then I understand, which I listened to your radio program, and I heard when Brian King was on the air that he said that I told him it was Friday, and he never knew about Thursday. So they made their meeting on Thursday because he assumed or thought our meeting was going to be on Friday, which, come to find out, was not the truth. That was not truthful. So what we're going to do, as I said, is just proceed, have our meeting this evening, invite everybody's welcome. Doesn't matter. Politics is not involved. Republican, Democrat, Independent, it doesn't matter who, what, where. Taxpayers, it's just a taxpayers' informal question and answer information.
Well, Carly, as living in a free community and free society as we do, and we fight for to have a free community, it's within the public's right to have these kind of meetings to discuss the things that they don't understand and disagree with. So they shouldn't be any opposition as to what you're doing, because it's within the community's and citizens' right to assemble.
Yes, absolutely, Jim. I agree 100%. And I have no agenda here. I just want that to be clear. I'm a 71-year-old man. I have no agenda. I'm not running for any office. I have no agenda other than simply to try and get information out to the people that requested it, and try and help the community, to help the taxpayers. And that's the only thing this is about. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jim.
There are a lot of questions that need to be answered by a lot of citizens who don't understand the process and don't understand what might possibly be done to correct the situation. And a lot of folks are scared because the evaluations are so high, and they automatically think that's where the taxes are going. It doesn't necessarily mean that. So that's what these discussions are important for. And I think the fact that you guys are having this is important.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and there's a lot of confusion, and it's a confusing topic. They talk about revenue neutral tax. They talk about this. They throw out a lot of words that people just don't understand. I didn't understand myself. I had to look it all up and figure out what they were talking about. But there is a lot of confusion out there, and I was very disappointed that we were stonewalled, and they tried to undermine our efforts. And as you said, Jim, in a free society, you should have this discourse back and forth, and especially in our community, our small town community, North Carolina. This is what America is.
Yes.
I'd like to say something right now, Jim, that under the circumstances, with the Brian King not telling the truth on the radio, and his deceitful behavior, and his trying to pull the rug out from under us, at this point, I'd like to call for Brian King's resignation. I think he should be removed from that position. I don't think in that position, that's a fiduciary position, and I don't think we should have someone in that type of a position that is working underhandedly against the community, basically. So I'm going to start a movement, and I'm going to ask again that Brian resigns.
That meeting tonight is 6 o'clock, of course. People will come from all categories, all walks of life to your meeting, which starts at 6 and will be open to. As I understand it, Carl, correct me if I'm wrong, understanding this meeting that you're organizing is not a beat up on the commissioners, a beat up on the county manager. It's a public information, find out more details meeting. Am I correct?
Absolutely, Jim. And I made that crystal clear several times to Brian and all the commissioners that I would make sure that this was not going to be, they're not going to walk into an ambush, or, they're not going to be lynched. This was going to be an honest discourse between the authorities and the people to make them understand and us understand what exactly this is all about, and how we can move forward with this thing. That's all it was. And I had reassured them several times that it was going to be that type of a meeting.
I suspect you'll have a big crowd turning out tonight. And of course, seating is limited there at the clubhouse, so folks probably need to get there early in order to get a seat. Would you think?
Yeah, I'd say if they got there by 5:30, that would be terrific. The meeting's scheduled to begin about 6, but if they wanted to get there early, we'll be there early. I'll be there by 5, 4:30, 5 o'clock. 5:30. If people wanted to start to come in, that's terrific. There's no problem with that whatsoever.
Carl Napolitano, glad to have you on board with us to discuss that side of the picture. And if we'll here again, since you called the chairman out, we'll give him an opportunity if he wants to call in this morning to rebuke that. I'll certainly open the mic for that as well. But we're running out of time this morning. But thank you for being with us and sharing your side of it.
Jim, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So if the chairman heard that and wants to call in and rebuke what he was said, he's certainly for a few minutes we got a little time for that. It's 8:46.
When you want the best wireless experience, Carolina West Wireless makes it easy to go for it. Go for a better network. Go for great customer service. Go for bigger savings. Right now, save $400 when you go for an iPhone 14 Pro on a Plus or Premium Unlimited plan. Or get the whole family to go for unlimited data, just $25 per month per line on 4 lines with AutoPay. Try us risk-free for 30 days. What are you waiting for? Go for it and go stay connected. See representative for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions. Offer expires March 31st, 2023.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous!
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course! They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
Matt Mahan's Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Rutherfordton has been a family business since 1953, offering care, dignity, honor, and unique opportunities for families to create a healing moment after a loss. John McMahon and his fine staff bring experience coupled with perspective to help in paying tribute in a traditional or unique way. Call 287-4715 or visit online today at www.mattmahansfuneralhome.com. There, you can view current obituary information or pre-plan for yourself or loved ones. Matt Mahan's Funeral Home offers healing to the community through burial and cremation services, grief support, whether it's a funeral or a memorial service. Matt Mahan's Funeral Home and Cremation Services knows the importance of ceremony and will guide you in honoring the life and memories of your loved one. Call Matt Mahan's Funeral Home and Cremation Services today at 287-4715 or visit them at 249 South Main Street in Rutherfordton. There are plenty of drugstores in Rutherford County, but not all of them offer the same personal customer service that is offered at the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton. Laura Hodge and her team have trusted experience and professional service. You're not just a number to them, you're a friend. Make the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton your hometown drugstore at 200 Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1, 287-7117.
I'm going to step away from the microphone now, get a little rest of the old throat a little bit, get ready for my Great America with Jim and Butch at 9:05 this morning. So stand by for that. Meanwhile, we'll take you down memory lane until 9 o'clock this morning.
Hi, I'm Vivica Fox. Every year, millions of animals lose their homes and end up in shelters.
Territory with high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Anthony Baglione in the Weather Center.
It's 48 degrees currently, and the fog is beginning to burn off. It's pretty much leaving us right now, maybe where you are, so please watch out for that. As you go around the curves, the fog may be pretty thick in that section, but it's burning off most every place. It's 9:05.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, welcome everybody. We welcome Butch via telephone again this morning. Butch, how are you doing?
You know, I'm doing well, Jim. I can't wait to be home, can't wait to sit in the Blue Room, and especially next week, which is an auspicious one.
It's going to be a different week next week for sure.
It's going to be a different week next week for sure because the countdown is on, and the 31st, I guess, is officially your last day at WCAB. Is that true?
That is correct. March 31st will be my last day on duty. I'm a short-termer now, as they used to say in the Air Force when you were getting short of your days that you would be discharged. You're a short-termer now, Bishop, so I guess I'm a short-termer now.
Well, you know what? You're not a short-termer when it comes to being in the hearts and the minds and the lives of people in Rutherford County. And listen, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm going to talk about Jim third person for a minute. If you've always wanted to let Jim know how much he has meant to you in the rhythm of your life, your family's lives, your church, or whatever it may be, there's an opportunity for you to drop a card. Drop a card or just stop by. Let him know next week that he has been a vital and will continue to be a vital part in the lives of people here in Rutherford County. And in the midst of it, you know, there's a program we've got to do this morning, and we're gonna do that in just a minute. But I want to be mindful of the fact, Jim, that for so many years, 37, right? Is it 37?
36, I believe it is. I'll have to double check to be sure. I think it's 36. Time passes when you're having fun.
36 plus years, thousands and thousands of programs that you have overseen. You brought wisdom and wit into the lives of so many people. And, you know, we sing a song at my church, How Can We Say Thanks? You know, for people that have done so much. And Jim, you sure have. But I was thinking about the whole concept of radio, by the way, and you have seen radio evolve through the years, haven't you?
I have indeed seen that. From a child when they used to have those big stand-up radios like sitting on the floor. They had one just an AM signal, all you could get, and hardly any local stations at all. Wood fill-in stations from even Del Rio, Texas, and Chicago, Illinois, and Nashville, Tennessee. Nothing hardly local at all in those days. But it's come a long ways. It's transitioned into transistors and now iPhones and FM radios. It's just amazing how far it's come.
Well, you know your friend. So I found myself early this morning, knowing we were going to do My Great America with Jim and Butch. I found myself asking these imponderable questions like, what's the history of radio and where did all this come from? Now, Jim, the word broadcasting is actually a mid-18th century agricultural term. You know what it means?
Scattering fertilizer out?
Yeah. Now, it wasn't fertilizer. It was seeds, a wide scattering of seeds.
Yes.
The word didn't become a term related to radio until the 20th century when the first radio broadcasts were created. And like broadcasting, it involves a large scattering of stuff, radio waves, songs, news, entertainment. So that's actually the history of the word broadcasting. Now, Heinrich Hertz demonstrated that radio waves existed in his lab in 1887. And the unit, of course, the frequency of a radio wave, 1 cycle per second, is named the hertz in honor of Heinrich Hertz. Now, radio is broadcasted, as you've often shared, in different frequencies. That includes FM. They range between 88 and 108. And FM stands, of course, for frequency modulation. That produces a wave of constant amplitude but varying frequency. And then, of course, AM radio waves posted between 550 and 1600. Now, Jim, you oversaw the transition from, not transition from, but in addition to AM to FM at WCAB? What went behind that?
Well, the FCC, of course, has to do, the engineers have to do research for the FCC to make sure that the signals do not overlap with neighboring counties or neighboring signals. So when they tested 100.9, of which we are, they tested to make sure that we would not be overlapping somebody else that may be 100 or 100.2 or something like that. If they're really close together, they can interfere with each other's signal. So they had to do an engineering study to make sure that didn't happen. So that's why we landed on 100.9 and realized that we do not interfere. Now, as you go further towards Charlotte, there'll be another station on the same frequency that'll come in, but we're not interfering right here. They're not interfering with us. And same if you go toward west, there'll be another station somewhere to 100.9 FM. But as long as you're in your circumference, you're not interfering with anybody. And that has to. They do a study, and you do a study. The FCC approves that indeed you're okay with that. Then you make the application, and they at some point, when it's their own good time, the FCC will approve the fact. Well, yes, we'll authorize you an FM frequency, small power FM frequency for you to do, and then you buy the equipment, have it installed, and test it out. And so that's where we are today. FM is pretty strong signal, and oftentimes the FM frequency, even though it is a smaller power than our AM, sometimes the FM frequency is a clearer channel. It does not have the interferences that AM has.
Right, exactly. And you think about all the history of this. Of course, it was Guglielmo Marconi. He was the first person that was able to send and receive a radio signal. That was in Italy in 1895. And in 1899, Jim, he sent a wireless signal transversely across the English Channel. So in 1902, he received a letter S telegraphed from England. That marked the first transatlantic radio telegraph message. And of course, from the genesis of all of this, radio, as you and I have often spoken about, has become the leading reach platform in America. 92% of people listen to AM, FM radio over the airwaves. TV viewership is about 87%. Smartphone use at 81%. That means that more than 245 million American adults listen to the radio every single month. Isn't that incredible?
That is incredible. And I've often said, particularly when I'm maybe dealing with somebody who doesn't have as much confidence in radio as we'd like them to, we tell them radio is a constant companion because you can stick a radio in your pocket, you can put a radio in your garage, in your back door, at your back door, out in the barn. You can't do a TV that way hardly. You can't hardly stick a TV in your pocket, and you don't carry a newspaper around in your pocket much. But the radio is your constant companion. If you want to hear music, you can turn it on. If you want to hear talk, you can turn it on. If you want to hear a ball game, you can turn it on. If you want to hear people fussing and arguing with one another, you can turn that on too. There are many different varieties, and radio is there at your beck and call.
Exactly, and it's the reason, Jim, that all of the research shows that radio is the most reliable signal. It's far superior to landlines and cellular networks. It's also, and we forget about this, a reliable means of communication in times of disasters.
Yes.
Since everyone has access to a radio pretty much, whether rich or poor. And, of course, there's testing that WCAB goes through regularly, right, with the emergency broadcast system?
We have to do that periodically, have a run a test to make sure the signal is working. And just recently the FCC required a long study endurance of a lot of paperwork to make sure that we were in line with that. And Lou did a magnificent job getting that set up for us to clear the FCC, and it did. So we're clear there. And if emergency happens or bad weather happens, they send us a major weather warning down the line. If there's a emergency happening, God forbid, any disaster that may develop, we get those kind of signals as well. So EAS is a major part of what we do in broadcasting.
Right, and of course this goes way back because the sinking of the Titanic, Jim, in 1912 mandated the use of radio at sea. It grew out of that, and it's not that there was no radio system on the Titanic. Actually, what's interesting is the radio system on the Titanic is what actually saved lives. During the sinking, the sailors used the radio to reach out to nearby ships and rescue passengers. And that disaster, by the way, eventually played a part in the creation of something called the Radio Act of 1912, which reinforces the powerful role that radio can play. Now, Here's a couple of little interesting facts. It wasn't created to be, but over the years, the famous Parisian landmark, engineered by Gustave Eiffel, has had a few uses in radio. The first public radio broadcasts were done at the top of the Eiffel Tower by radio scientists. Very interesting. Lee DeForest is viewed as the father of radio broadcasting. Being an opportunist, he took a break from his honeymoon in 1908. Jim, and he climbed the landmark to broadcast a selection of music to the Parisian suburbs. And what's interesting is the Eiffel Tower was meant to be removed after 20 years. However, it survived because the military saw its value, Jim, as a radio tower to intercept crucial military transmissions during World War I. Isn't that something?
Interesting story. It really is. The impact of radio has a long history, and it's been very prevalent even today with the use of it.
Exactly. And, most people don't realize this, but radio waves, scientists tell us, go on forever and ever and are even emitted by some planets. Now, Jim, that means, according to scientists, every broadcast you've ever done is still moving out there.
Oh, my.
Still out there. Out there in the cosmos. There's more to science, to radio waves than you may think. Researchers have discovered two interesting facts, Jim. I was reading this early this morning. First, it's believed they will continue to travel forever unless something absorbs them. If that's the case, and there are other life forms in parts of the universe, which I don't necessarily believe is true, besides planet Earth, that means that they may have heard our radio waves. The other thing that's interesting, speaking of planets, other planets are able to emit radio waves. So can other things floating in space. In 1932, experts revealed astronomical objects emit radio waves. A system has been established that makes it possible to produce pictures from radio waves. Thus, astronomers are using radio telescopes to study radio waves emitted not only from planets, but also from specks of dust, gas clouds, stars, comets, and other galaxies. And if you've seen these incredible pictures from Hubble and other uses that astronomers have of telescopes, that is actually a depiction with colors of radio waves that are being emitted. So I thought that was really interesting. And it reminds me of that scripture, the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies declare the work of his hands. And this thing you can't see, radio waves, which can be used for good or for ill. I think of all the gospel messages around the world, Far East Broadcasting, Trans World Radio, all of the gospel messages that have had as their communication platform radio, Jim. It's been powerful.
It really is, and we've gotten so modernized anymore. It's hard to imagine how it started in infancy. I was thinking a moment ago, you said something about the background of my radio. I remember a radio station I worked for in Greer, South Carolina, and they did not have hardly any modern equipment. They put the commercials on a little small round reel-to-reel, and they had a reel-to-reel, had about three places, and when it came commercial time, we'd have to cue up that reel and play the commercials and unwind it and put it back on the racks for the next time. Then it moved into cassettes, things for put on cassette players. Then it moved to what looks like 8 tracks. They're really not 8 tracks, but they look like it. And we put commercials on those and have a machine where we plug them in. We still have one of those machines. Now it's moved to everything goes on a computer, and we don't have to have the cassette, don't have to have those 8-track looking machines or anything like that. So it's come a long way from the little small reel to reels to everything in the computer now.
Isn't that something? And there are all of these mysteries. For example, I was reading, Jim, that there's something they call UVB-76. And you may ask, what is that? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's a secretive Russian radio signal that has been continuously transmitting since 1982. No one knows who makes the signal. It's located near Moscow. It makes a buzzing sound 25 times a minute. The station was originally identified as UVB-76, and now it's referred to as MDZHB, but it's commonly known as the buzzer, and nobody knows what it does, Jim.
It's an industry.
Isn't that something? The other thing that's interesting, listen to this. The first incident of telephone hold music was a mistake. You know, if you've ever been on hold and listened to music,
yes,
the first time that ever happened, it was a mistake. Why? What was caused by loose wire touching a metal girder at a factory, and it turned the entire building into a mega radio antenna that would play the music from a next door radio station when people were on hold.
That's interesting.
Isn't that something? Now, here on the darker side of things, in the United States, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service estimates that between 4 and 50 million birds are killed each year by tower kills in the United States.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting too. And you know, a text message, most people don't know this, sent from a cell phone to another phone is actually a radio wave. The text leaves our phones and it's sent to a tower that transmits the lock to the message's recipient. They're all unique radio waves being sent, enabling them to reach the right person. So a lot of folks just turn on the radio, they click it on, and don't realize that behind it all is the miracle, the miraculous transmission of data, of music, of messages. You know, I think of our messages. We've done hundreds of them now with the Good News of the Gospel on the Word of Faith radio program. All of that is on the platform, Jim, of radio. And through the years, millions of words have been spoken, no doubt, by you, and they've been life-giving to the county, and it's such a blessing.
I'm just glad we could be a part of this community for so many years in several different ways, and it's just been a real blessing for me to have been able to entertain and hopefully do a little inspiration along the ways for the people every morning.
I think the thing, Jim, that I've heard from folks in the county is they appreciate the information, they appreciate the inspiration, and they appreciate the incitement to action. It's not passive. You're not a passive broadcaster. You're always encouraging people to take hold of things and make a difference and be a part. And now, Jim, in the spirit of that, I believe tonight we've got a couple of meetings, don't we?
That is correct.
Can you remind people what those are and when?
Well, it's two meetings. One of them was first formed by some interested community people who were concerned about the reevaluation of property, and they are assembling together to talk about why and how and what can be done about it, and is there anything that the taxpayers need to know. And so they're assembling together at the Rutherfordton Clubhouse at 6 o'clock. In the process of that being done, the county commissioners also called a special meeting at 6 o'clock tonight at the same time this other was going on, and they will address the issue as well and hopefully answer questions with the citizens. I'm not sure what their plans are, but they will explain the reevaluation and give citizens an opportunity to ask them questions. So there'll be two meetings tonight, choices of going to Rutherfordton Clubhouse for just the citizens meeting, or going to the annex for the county commissioners meeting and discuss this horrendous evaluation that just took place with our property values.
Right. And of course, you and I both had the opportunity to speak to Theo. I think he's involved in helping mobilize at least some community interest and diligence in what's happening. Walt, a new friend that I met over there at the Republican County Convention. Bryson Smith made an announcement at our church, and then beyond that, that there's the opportunity to go to both of these tonight. I think Bryson may be going to each of them. I'm not quite sure if there will be questions taken from the floor in the commissioners' mobilized meeting, but I believe questions in advance. Not quite sure about that.
Sure
but,
either.
Folks, if you're interested in this whole area of property tax assessments, and what for many people was a startling number that was identified as the target, you've got a voice, you've got a means, you've got a path, and it's an opportunity for you tonight to make known your feelings and your thoughts and your history and perspectives on the matter. So make sure you make it a point, if you can get out there, to go to one or both of those. You can perhaps go to one for a little bit and then the commissioners meeting after. But it's what it means to be an active citizen, isn't it, Jim? It's one thing I've heard you say this before. It's not enough just to bellyache about things. If you want change, go out there and be a part of making it happen, right?
That's right. A few days ago, I had the privilege of Chairman Brian King called in, and he talked about their meeting and why it's set up and what he considered to be misunderstanding on the part of his other group. We talked to him about 10, 15 minutes about this meeting that they're planning for tonight. And this morning, Carl Napolitano, who is organizing the citizens group, he called in. We talked to him about 15 minutes about why they're organizing and his misunderstanding about why the county commissioners books went on top of them. So that we've had both of them on this week to talk about the meeting. So people have a choice, an opportunity to go to one or both tonight. And we emphasize with Carl earlier this morning that this is not a beat up on the commissioners or the county managers. It's not a grand slamming on them. It's just getting questions answered and find out why it is and how it happened. And is there anything we can do about it?
Well, it's interesting because recent studies have shown that increasingly the value that more and more, if not most, people have in their elected officials is this one word: transparency. And so, take no regard for the person behind the curtain is not a way that you run government. You want to be open-hearted. You want to have an open book. You want people to know exactly what's going on, because what happens, Jim, is in the absence of clarity and the absence of truth, what tends to happen is people will gravitate towards sordid interpretations and conspiracies, and they're up to no good, and then it just becomes a brush fire, a bonfire, and then a forest fire, a wildfire of speculation. And in the end, that doesn't do any good because it precipitates people descending into ad hominem arguments, calling each other names, and you can't get anything done if all you're doing is screaming at each other on social media. It doesn't accomplish anything.
And I think that's what's happening, too. People are screaming at each other on social media about how insensitive it is for them to raise our taxes so high. Well, this evaluation is not raising our taxes. It's just what they perceive to be the value of property, which is outrageously high, I think, for everybody's property. But that is not what your tax rate is going to be. And the commissioners have said they're going to have a zero neutral budget, but that part don't get out to people. So that's what Facebook can be a friend or it can be a terrible enemy in trying to get information out, because they distort the facts. And somebody says this, and then somebody says this about it, and before you know it, you got a whole situation that's absolutely not correct.
Right, and you have these independent, believe it or not, there are such things, research entities that make it clear, for example, Jim, that 50% of the articles that are shared on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, they're shared by people that never read the article. They only read the headline.
Right.
Yeah, the data makes it clear. And so often what we all know, or should know if we don't, is that headlines are just clickbait. It's just getting you engaged.
Sure. And
so often there's not a reconciliation between the headline and the content. Now, I'm looking here at the clock. We've only got 2 minutes left, and I want to end with something, Jim. There are two verses that God put in my heart that relate specifically to you as we walk down, or up, as it may be, to your last day on the 31st. Let me share those verses. And all of you that are out there that have appreciated Jim Bishop's engagement in the community through the years, I'm going to encourage you, drop him a note or a card, stop by the station, let him know. Here's the two verses. Proverbs 22:1 says, "A good name earned by honorable behavior, godly wisdom, moral courage, and personal integrity is more desirable than riches, and favor is better than silver and gold." And then, Jim, the last one, and both these are on my heart. They relate to you from your friend. Proverbs 25:11, "Like apples of gold in settings of silver is a word spoken at the right time." And my friend, is we've got just a week, about a week now between this moment and your last day at WCAB. I just want to let you know those two verses, to me, declare Jim Bishop. You're a blessing.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Hurry back home.
I will. I'll see you on Tuesday, God willing. God bless America.
God bless America. Thank you.
thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.